Hi, my name is Alan Train, and today I'm going to show you how to connect Episerver forms with a ton of online services using Zapier and Webhooks. So to begin with, I've set up a site with the Episerver and the new forms installed. In this case, I'm using the Episerver and Azure Marketplace, but you could basically use whatever you want. You could start from Visual Studio, just make sure to install the forms. Now we already have the forms running. I've created a form. I did that beforehand on the first page for feature requests. I want to take the feature requests and make sure that whenever they're submitted, it's automatically creating a field, a row in my in a Google Docs spreadsheet. So I go to all properties, settings, and here I can add webhooks. Now webhooks is a way where you can send all submitted data to a URL and basically let that URL handle the data. By clicking on the plus sign, I can add a URL, and just to test this out, I'm going to use a little tool called request bin. So you really don't have to use this. This is just to show you guys what's actually being sent along. I'm going to request bin, getting a request bin, and getting a URL from that I'm pasting in here. That basically just gives me a page that will update whenever it's called with something and let me see what's actually being sent there. Handy little tool. I'm also going to Zapier, which is the big tool that you want to use to connect to a lot of other online services. As you can see, there's quite a lot you can choose between here. Basically, I think there's more than 400 now. I'm picking Webhook, which is a built-in option, going for a catch hook. And we don't really need to worry about child keys at this point, so I can move on from that. This will give me a URL that I can also add to my webhook collection here. So now whenever the form is submitted, it'll actually send the data to both of those webhooks that I've defined here. I'm going to publish the form, and now it's time to actually try to submit the form with some test data for the first time. So let's go to the site as it looks at the visitor. Like this. And just make sure Zapier is ready to listen for the submission. We'll click here. It's now ready to listen. And we can go right ahead and submit a test entry here to make sure that it's actually reaching Zapier and request bin. I'm adding some details in the form and I'm submitting it. And let's check if it's in request bin. So I'll go to request bin and refresh my inspector. And we can see, wow, there's actually a request there with all the details that I just submitted. That's great. Now I'm going to Zapier, and it also says test successful, and I can verify the body, and it actually shows that it already received the same data. So that's great. It's received the data, it has recognized them, and now I can use the data to do some actions. So I can actually do multiple actions. I could create a node in Evernote, I could add it to Dropbox, I could post it on Twitter. I can do a lot of things with it. In this specific case, what I want to do is, as I said, I want to add it to my Google Sheets, add a row there. It could also be, Google Calendar, it could be a lot of things, but let's use Google Sheet and create a spreadsheet row. First, I'll just test that my Google account works. It seems to work. And then I'll pick my spreadsheet. I have one prepared for this already, and I've already defined the header row with some names in that. That's basically all I did. And because I defined the header row, I can now go and map up the different columns to each other. So basically the fields from the form that it already received a test version of, and the columns available in the spreadsheet. So it takes a moment just matching those up here. You'll see you have a bunch of different fields, and some of them are system fields, the others are the ones that you defined when you built your form. There we go. And that's all that's needed. I've matched them up, and now we can try to create that. And since we're all done, we can finish up with the creation of our SAP. A SAP here is really just like a recipe, and you can have multiple SAPs running. And let's call this one collect feature requests, because that's what it's for. And we can now turn it on as we have given it a name. I could add filters, I could add more actions, I could do a lot of things, but right now we can actually go to the spreadsheet and see that it already created both the test row and the test data that we submitted there. That's perfect. Let's just try it one more time. Go back to the site and fill in a more realistic feature request. I've seen a lot of those, and they typically sound something like this. Make the product better. We'll add some description for it. And add on the products here, fill in the details and submit. And right away, we should be able to go to our spreadsheet and see that we now have 2 rows, and this is in the second row. That's all for now. I hope you enjoyed watching this very quick little demo. If you want to learn more, check out Episerver Forms. Thank you.